We've got a bowling change. It's this man. Here he is at the top of his mark. He'll be bowling to Williamson after tea for his first over. In he comes, and that's wide and swinging wider. Jonny Bairstow dives and takes it in front of first slip, and a nice welcome for the New Zealanders, at least probably a change of pace, as that's 79 miles an hour from Stuart Brook. Well, Overton was operating around 87, 89 as Williamson's on 37, Conway on 6, the lead still 100.
I can report that our Spanner squad are enjoying bot bashing almost as much as they're enjoying the cricket at the moment.
Whack-a-bot, I've seen. And that's defended outside the off stump by Williamson into the offside towards the field, and no run as it's thrown back into Bairstow.
In a strange way, the fact that there's so much pace coming from the other end kind of makes Broad a little bit more dangerous, because you look at 80 miles an hour, like 79 to 82 miles an hour, and your eyes might light up when otherwise they wouldn't. Or
you're so used to kind of those fast twitch reactions, and you just play at one a little early and it moves. Yeah. You start to get in some trouble. Or you expect more bounce maybe, as Williamson defends. Because the odd thing about Stuart Broad is, I think it's empirically measured that Matthew Potts gets more bounce than him on average, even though Broad is 6'5". And it's because he bowls over a very, very bent front leg. So despite being only a couple of inches shorter than I think a Jason Holder or Carl Jamieson, he has nowhere near the release point or the bounce.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
In fact, Jamieson has the highest release point because Jason Holder's another one who basically has his leg at a right angle as he bowls, whereas Jamieson has his a little straighter. As in comes Broad. Oh, it's beaten the outside edge of Williamson's bat. It's a false shot from Williamson, but he's so good at keeping his hands inside the box and not following the ball at all. It's just beaten his outside edge.
They've put an off Hayden in.
They have. Perhaps.
Which maybe is taking the eye of Williamson a little bit.
And perhaps an indication that the pitch is just a bit tacky, a little bit slow. The ball might be stopping in it a little bit, leading to one kind of ballooning off the face of the bat, an early shot.
I think that there's also more cloud cover, so it may be swinging a little bit too.
As Broad is at the top of his mark and in past the umpire. Oh, that has swung messages. You're right there. It swung back in, and deep mid-wicket will pick it up. It's been played into the leg side for one, but it started on 7th, 8th stump and was spearing in towards middle by the time it was played.
Williamson doing what every good non-striker should do, telling Conway about the ball he's just faced and how it moved.
This is what's going to happen to you, lad.
Yeah.
As Broad immediately round the wicket, as is his very productive want to the left-handers of recent years. He just has that ball which, similar to the one that Overton got Latham with, in fact, the one that just starts on off stump and nibbles away.
There's quite a lot of discussion. He's finally found the attention of what was sort of a backward point and moving that into kind of an extra cover position. Cover's vacant.
As in is Broad round the wicket to Conway. Oh, it's an extra bit of bounce. Conway just hung the bat out there, and it reared up off a very full length towards more like his shoulder bicep height, and he's caught it on the top end of the bat, and just unexpected there. It's not caused him too much trouble. Goodbye to the bear, who we will see tomorrow. Or possibly, no, we won't see the bear tomorrow. The bear will be remotely hungover supporting me, but it will just be me and Hendo tomorrow. as that's the end of Broad's over. 132 for 2 New Zealand, leading by 101.
Roger Melly says, history is littered with people who didn't know how to get their way out of the ball. Bollocks. Go ahead and make me a list of serious head injuries from P helmet days. I only know one. You and Chatfield, and he survived. I got to say, I'm actually with Roger on this. Having watched a lot of cricket in my youth, well before helmets were a thing, the number of times people got hit on the head was very few, despite there being some pretty quick bowlers around even then. And he says also, in the last Ashes series, I kept count of how many times blokes were hit on the head, and I stopped counting at 20. And that would never have happened.
I'm not having the fact that I can't make you a list really quickly about the fact that the people didn't get smacked in the head.
Overton's round the wicket to Williamson, and that's a length ball which he gets a leading edge on as he tries to turn it off his hip. It wasn't actually a fabulous delivery, but I think it was just a bit unexpected. The field is for the short stuff. Luke Hallahan on YouTube asks where the bear is going. He's going out on the toon tonight, and so he's going to be absolutely smashed in a couple of hours. And while I'll be closing up the studio, and
I don't know, Jez. That sounded. I don't. What regional accent do you want to guess that was?
Well, I think Colin Suter should comment on that one.
As Overton, another length ball going across Williamson and defended. Luke has also asked if I went to Muay Thai today. I don't do Muay Thai, Luke. I tried and decided I have...
He does Brazilian fucking yoga.
Yeah, well, I decided I had a horrible aversion to being punched in the face, so Mexican ground karate was for me.
Mexican ground karate?
Or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, as it's better known. He also asked if
you're... hit the ground and it doesn't hit back.
Yeah, yeah, that's short and too short from Overton, and left alone by Williamson.
You sound like someone who I used to work with a long time ago, who once described volleyball as racketless ground tennis.
That's a good one. He also asked.
Yeah, that's not bad.
He also asked Messi, "Are you in Oz? What are you doing up at this time?" Clearly, he thinks it's past your bedtime.
It's only 11:20. Jesus. I don't go to bed before 3 normally.
And that's short from Overton, but didn't really get up. Tucked off the hip by Williamson, and a diving, a backward square leg is beaten, but there is a sweeper out there, so he'll just get the one.
He's got to put a short square leg in, isn't he?
Yeah, you think.
A short leg,
you keep holding short.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's 2 men back on the hook. There's a man half back where they got Blundell. It was the other day, that kind of half back backward square leg. So I don't know.
You've got to put it in his head that you're going to bowl it short.
Well, he's round the wicket to Conway, full defended, no run back to the bowler. Luke asks, who does the bear go clubbing with? Yogi Bear and Bear Grylls? And also ask, whose house is the studio in? Well, it's in the Gorilla Flat.
That we can't say for legal reasons.
No, it's in the vague area of Sydenham, but we won't give you the address. And it's in a flat, which I think the bear owns. As that's it's short and nicely played actually by Conway. Just at the last moment, he dabs the bat on it in the air, and it guides it past the slips. And away to third man for one of these. And that also ends the over.
Oh dear. Farong says, finally a ton for Virat of sorts. 100 runs for Virat Kohli against Leicestershire, 33 and 67. Neymar Butland says, is a non-striker a guy who rocks up to drive a train? Get it? Is the internet on?
Oh no.
And Josie, ever complimentary towards Gorillas, says Messi is so old he doesn't sleep anymore.
Oh, poor old Messi.
I don't know. I mean, we haven't reached the age where you're not buying any unripened bananas yet, have we?
No, why would I buy unripened bananas?
It's an old joke by an ex-comedian called Barry Cryer. What? Now, how are you feeling? I'm not buying any unripened bananas, put it that way.
As Broad, full one, but keeps low, and Williamson jams the bat down on it and lets it go. I've just Lockie the 6th on YouTube says Mexican ground karate is awesome. There is no defense against the Lopez nut twist.
Ooh.
Well,
which sounds painful.
Watch how low this keeps.
Yeah,
that is really skid along the floor.
That is something to watch.
As
I mean, imagine if Trent Boult can do that.
Yeah, well, as in comes Broad, and has he taken it? No, it's beaten the outside edge of Williamson. Jonny Bairstow very confusingly threw it up in the air as if it was a wicket, but it's just deviated off the seam. Williamson's leant forward and, well, by about an inch, it's beaten his outside edge, if that. I mean, let's have a look at the replay. Wobble seam, I'm assuming? No, straight seam. Slight deviation, beats the edge and straight through to Jonny Bairstow. But Stokes has his head in his hands. He can't believe that ball has not hit the edge of the bat. In is Broad again to Williamson. That one does take the edge, but it's straight down into the floor, past the slips, in the gap, and away to third man for one of these.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
Agony for Broad.
He's pitched the ball. The grouping of the 3 deliveries he's bowled so far, relatively similar, but he's got 3 different types of bounce.
And Broad has kicked the footholes, leading to a puff of dust in frustration at that. You know, he's almost got him LBW, then he's almost had the edge, then he has taken the edge and it's gone for 4. And in he comes now for the third ball, and that again keeps a little low and comes back in. But Williamson guides it to mid-on for no run. He's just so good, isn't he, Kane Williamson? He's just looking in that, starting to look like he's getting into that rhythm where his hands don't follow anything, and even great balls just miss the edge.
I wonder, even if Conway is okay, I wonder if they've missed the trick. Like 20 minutes of him sitting.
As in comes Broad, left alone by Williamson. No run.
You've taken a big whop on the head. He's not looked really comfortable since that point. You wonder whether the best thing to do in that situation, even if you pass the protocol, go and sit down, get yourself back together again, let someone else go out and bat, follow the next wicket, out you pop again. But the idea of needing and wanting to stay in, I just get the feeling they're going to get him out cheaper now than they would do if he took a little break.
As in comes Broad, final ball of the over, defended, no run. Wibble away, because I've just noticed a slight technical issue which I'm going to have to address.
Oh dear. Roger Melly says you can't make a list off the top of your head. I think he was going to, but I just talked over you. Is that right?
No, I mean there's a couple that may leap to mind, but the idea that they might have been helmetless is not something I really want to go into without. I don't want to make sort of false accusations about what might have happened in certain circumstances.
He says people remember Chatfield and Hughes because of the serious outcomes, but go ahead and find a list of all the serious injuries that we've all forgotten about. I do agree.
Today's cricket, if I were you.
Yeah. O'Neill Harris says, Messi, we cook unripe bananas in the Caribbean. I ate more green bananas than ripe ones growing up. We peel it and boil it like potatoes. Yeah, my daughter-in-law is from Tanzania, and green bananas are a big part of their diet too. I've actually never eaten them.
Overton into Conway, short, pulled, hard. Oh, there's a good attempt at a diving catch, and it won't get to the boundary because there is a man. But Stokes thumps the ground in frustration, feels he could have got closer to that one. We'll have a look. It's short, it's pulled. How far away is it? Oh, it looks like it's just past his hand.
Yeah, in a way, it either needs to be right at the end of your arm anything kind of in between, it's you can't adjust in time. So it did just look from the shot though that Ben Stokes fell over. But yeah, good attempt at the dive.
Slightly, yeah. As in is Overton. Short again, too short, left alone.
Lead of Nelson. For those of
Yes,
you who
1-1-1 is the lead.
Does that get your feet off the floor?
I saw an advert for a great T-shirt, Jez. You'd love this. The floor is like no ball, by the way. Jake.
That's
Sorry?
1-1-2 now.
Yeah, 1-1-2. So
No
this
ball.
T-shirt
so
was the floor is lava in quotes, and underneath it said everyone Pompeii AD 79.
Here's a no ball jingle.
Over the line! I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
As that's more of a length ball from Overton and played nicely and defensively by Williamson for no run. I had a brief moment of panic because I saw on this laptop, which is supporting all the broadcast stuff, that it said it's on 5% battery and the battery wasn't charging, it said. And it now says it's on 5% battery, but the battery is charging.
No, that's
That's better.
And I've been looking at it and it hasn't ticked down at all.
has it ticked up?
No.
Because I know the Bear has had problems with one of the computers where it was charging but still going down.
Yeah, I think this was that precisely. That shortened down the leg side by Overton, and Williamson almost shapes to play at it, but then leaves it alone. So I was just slightly worried that the whole operation was about to collapse due to a battery malfunction. But
Battery watch.
it seems to be fine now.
Jez, is it true that in all of recorded history, nothing has gone well after saying the words, "It appears to be fine now"?
Nonsense, Doctor. fine.
I'm now almost certain the battery is charging because it says it will take more than 10 hours for it to charge.
Yeah, that's not encouraging.
As that's... Oh, Bairstow's appealing. It's down the leg side. No, Murray Rasmus says no. If anything, it's probably flicked the back leg.
I can't believe this is the way they're trying to get him out.
Yeah. Jersey Oak says, if you tried Argentinian bench origami...
Well, that's a new
I thought
one.
it said beach origami, actually. I thought Argentinian beach origami sounded quite appealing, to be honest. It might be martial art.
Send more of your hobby tips and martial arts in. I think it's grazed his pocket.
Yeah, looks like it, certainly. As that's short.
Oh, dear.
Oh, what's gone on there?
It's bounced twice before it's got to Bairstow. We know that.
Well, I guess we'll have a look at this. Has it come off Williamson at all?
I don't think so. I think it's...
Oh, it was a slower ball, 76 mile an hour.
Yeah, it's a slow ball. Attempt at a bouncer, which is why it hasn't carried to Bairstow. But
I have no idea what's gone on there.
to say nobody on the field looks impressed is a mild understatement.
Yeah.
Even Overton looks apologetic.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
As in he comes to the final ball of this over. Full! That one, I think, has got some bat on it. But it's got some bat on it fine. And down to fine leg for one of these.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
End of the over. New Zealand
Should,
147 for 4.
we should be
Two.
changing over. Is Hattie waiting to get in?
Yeah, we should be. And Hattie is here. And here she comes. And Colin
I'll
will be
catch you in
coming
half an
on.
hour.
Thank you, Messrs. So it will be Al in the ball by ball, Colin in the summarising, and Hattie will be... Colin will be on socials, Hattie will be summarising, and I'll be on the jingles.
And Ravinair is next for you, Carl.
Yeah, thanks.
Jacob, have you let Hattie in?
Yes. She's still joining. She's still joining. Here she is, I think.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, Hattie. We will give Hattie a couple of minutes to get herself fully in position. You're right, Colin.
Yeah, not too bad. How are you doing?
Oh, for a Saturday afternoon, not too bad. 147 for 2 is New Zealand's second innings total, a lead of 116. It's going to be Stuart Broad to bowl around the wicket to Devon Conway, and that is driven and hit to Point. Point put both their hands up in mild celebration, which fooled not only me, but I think the entirety of the crowd. Hattie, how are you doing?
Hello, Al. How are you doing, mate?
How are you doing? Long time no see.
I was just about to say the same to you, my love. I'm good.
You look in fine form, Hattie.
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff.
You're all right.
What do you think of the show so far?
It's been a bit of a show, hasn't it?
It's not been bad. Broad in again, and that is short and wide and must hit something off the pitch because it deviates even further away. And Conway couldn't have hit that with a 6-foot broom, I think.
Couldn't have hit it with a stick of rhubarb, as I say up there.
No, that is a cracking accent to begin our time together, Hattie. That is marvellous stuff.
You've missed me. What can you say?
Well, that's all I can say is that we've missed you.
Oh, bless you. Well, I've missed you more.
There will be questions galore as we go on through this half hour. But Broad is in, speared in towards the legs of Conway. He tries to hit this through mid-on, but mid-wicket flashes in front of mid-on's eyes and does the fielding.
Well, you know what they say, if they're going to flash hard.
Indeed.
Woof!
It depends on your perspective, Colin. Your warped sense of humour knows no bounds.
Colin briefly possessed by the spirit of Lord Flashheart there from the Blackadder series.
At least it wasn't the flash dance.
Well, apparently he only does that on Sundays.
Oh.
A mild tease about tomorrow's play. Broad in wide of the crease, tries to entice Conway into the drive, but Conway is not for enticing, and it floats through to the keeper. So have you been keeping well, Hattie? Been out and about in the sunshine?
A bits and bobs. I've been playing most Sundays, so I've been pretty busy actually. I'm playing for the team I play for in Birmingham, so that's been really good fun.
Yep.
And so that's been really, really good. Went to Edgbaston last night, watched Warwickshire thrash Worcester, which is always good.
Aha, a bit of local rivalry there as Conway exaggeratedly leaves a ball that nips in towards him. All harmless stuff though, and there's one ball left in the over. Any performances to note?
Well, Adam Hose is doing fantastically, and he made his made 100 off 53 balls, unbeaten. Dan Mosley, coming back from injury, made 50 off about 20 odd balls. So, and Craig Miles only bowled 2 overs and only conceded about 5, which is unlike him. He normally goes for about 45 off 2 overs. So yeah, really, really good. And we beat Worcester by 144 runs after being 3 for 2.
That sounds like that's the hallmark for a good season. Just beat local rival, and then if there's silverware at the end, that's fine. Last ball of the over, Conway leaves it alone to the keeper. 147 for 2. Colin, what is the world of social media saying to us?
Well, Ravinier on Twitter saying one generally cooks plantains, a different species from bananas, which are generally eaten ripe but raw. I'm not sure.
We were talking about unripened bananas, so if you weren't fully up to speed, that would be confusing. Was
this a conversation with the porn bot by any chance, was it?
Your mind has taken you there. I don't know what to say.
Dave Wood, everything seems to be fine now. Captain of the Belgrano 1982.
Yeah, it's just surely. I mean, my life is dominated by the Murray Walker. Surely nothing now can stop him from winning. Oh, he's broken down.
And over on YouTube quickly is Sunil Gavaskar. Well, thank you. India will wipe the floor with this team.
Really?
I don't know.
Well,
don't know.
Williamson, 47 not out, will face Overton as he assumes the Wagner position. It is short, it is going across Williamson, and it is left alone to Bairstow.
I can report from the studio that the battery has ticked up to 6%, so everything really does seem to be fine now.
The victory for stupidity over common sense.
That's guerrilla cricket all over that.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we put that on a t-shirt?
That should be our byline completely.
Yeah. So we see a bit of dark clouds foreboding over behind Overton as he comes in around the wicket, back of a length, forcing Williamson to play, but he plays defensively. And the lead stays at 116.
There's a weird Twitter war going on because suddenly David Warner came into the chat saying, "Get out here, Sunil."
Dear.
What universe have I just stepped into?
The left-handers one, I think.
That is, yeah. Yeah, not quite sure how that's all going to go. Badly. There looks like deep foreboding clouds, and we may have rain soon, as that is short and pushed across Williamson. Eventually, he gets everything out of the way, and it goes through to the keeper.
How would you describe your style of play, Hattie?
I don't know.
Option A is Whirling Dervish of Destruction. So we're getting a head shake for Whirling Dervish of Destruction.
No, probably a blocker.
Obstinate and immovable.
I've got a top score of 4 this season, which is a really good effort. My daughter's laughing in the background as if to say I'm really, really useless. It's only my second season back after a long time, and I've been batting anywhere between like 6 and 9. But they don't really expect me to score quickly, and the standard against us has been pretty good, to be honest. But that's not the thing.
Short pitch ball from Overton, 83 miles an hour. Williamson not forced to play a shot, so decides not to play a shot.
So, I mean, it's a confidence thing with me, really. But then, again, I mean, we are a new club. We only started last year, so.
Well, guess who did the first catch?
Thank you, Ella. Yeah, I took the first catch of the inaugural season last year. So,
hey, that's in the history books.
Yes, exactly. It's on YouTube as well.
You are enshrined in that club's history forever, Hattie.
Yes, thank you.
Overton in wide of the crease. I think that's the attempt at the slower ball bouncer. Overton looks ruefully at something that's made him bowl at 76 miles an hour. Williamson looks completely unfazed. I think he might be somewhere approaching the centre of the zone, I think.
He's moved on to one-day bowling along with his one-day batting.
Well, it's just... I mean, obviously, he's been sent out there to do a job with this particular spell, which is just fast, short. We'll have one ball left of the over. This is actually pitched up in Williamson's half, which forces him to play a defensive shot. But the upshot of it all is that is a maiden. And after 40 overs, New Zealand are 147 for 2, leading by 116. Colin.
Josie Oak, bananas are a bit of human invention. While bananas are inedible, what we eat is a cultivated plant, and isn't a banana a herb?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about the import and then basically fumigate him to get them to change colour. Hombre Nuevo missed the afternoon session, so probably going over old ground, hoping that Foakes still keeps his spot, as despite him being out best keeper, it also seems that that the removal of the question of should Bairstow being our test keeper has freed up his play.
Well, we're going to have a bit of spin as this man's going to bowl the next over.
Coming up, here's a face that I know. It's Jack Leach.
So, Leach, a slip, a leg slip, a forward short leg, player on the 45, point, a shortish mid-off. As Conway on 11 will face. Leach in, and that is tempting Conway forward into the rough marked area. Conway steps forward almost at right angles to where Leach is bowled from. A lot of turn for Leach there in that first ball, but the upshot of it all is dribbles into the covers and no run. Leach again. Good loop from Leach there, trying to again entice Conway forward. But
like a teacher there. Good. Like Boult. Good.
Yes, yeah.
Very proven.
Well done.
Well done, young man.
Well done. Do that again.
Yes.
2 dot balls. Leach looks semi-frantic in his eyes. Wild, crazy eyes there. That one a bit more pitched up. But Conway, again, equal to the task of playing defensively. Maybe just...
Sorry, go on now.
I was going to say he's rediscovering his equilibrium after being banged on the bonts by Overton a little bit earlier on.
Yes, it looked painful.
Yeah, I would have stayed down for a little bit longer, to be honest.
I'd have been carted off.
Yeah. A little bit shorter from Leach, which allows Conway to stand tall back in his crease. Defended for no run, and that's 4 dot balls. Leach does get about his business pretty quickly. And he comes in again, slightly wider of the crease. That one, I think, was hitting the rough patches to turn in, but Conway kind of hit the outside edge, the thick outside edge of the bat, and dribbled down to backward point. And there's just 1 ball left of the over. The lead's 116. Conway's made 11 as a sort of forward by instalments and snuffs out the ball, and that's a maiden for Leach to start with. Cole.
Matthew Cullen, can you point me toward the tweet with the no holes method? Can't find it and missed it when read out.
It's about half an hour ago.
Yeah, Messi might manage to find it for you. Raffles, the gentleman thug, following on this from this, with the fearsome West Indies short-pitched pace barrage over the 80s and 90s, not a single instance of a batsman being hit on the head. Players knew how to get the head out of the way. It's a lost skill.
Yeah, that's right. Blame helmets. Yeah, it's a double change. It's going to be this man to bowl from the other end into what seems like a very stiff breeze.
I've heard from pots that the kettles are filthy black. You know he might do. Let's bring him into the attack.
So they've gone for a very wide shot. There seems to be raindrops falling on a camera high up in the air. I'm just looking at umpire Erasmus without his sunglasses on. It looks like his eyes have completely healed over. or just gone very deep into his brain. I think they're going to carry on, although a stoppage is looming. So, Hattie, Colin, prepare your best Wibble material.
I think he was just going to him and think, do you fancy a red or a white when we get off?
Yeah.
I'll have a pie.
Actually, as a result of this, Potts has been taken out of the attack, and it's going to be Joe Root who's going to bowl. So maybe an indication of some really bad light.
Like a pick, but massive runs he has hit. So there's that. Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root, actually.
So there is what looks like, it's school sports day season, and it looks like the cover race is about to begin. As Root is in, and Williamson comes forward and defends. So it seems like a stoppage is imminent at any time, as there is an umbrella up. Maybe an indication of more umbrellas to come. Root in again, short, spinning wildly, but Williamson eventually kind of flat bats it to deep cover, and there'll be a single. But that ball looked like it surprised everybody with its turn and its bounce from an absolutely filthy delivery from Root.
seen him take a wicket with a ball like that.
Well, yes, there is that. There is that. Although not quite as bad as the ball that Butler hit for 6 in the last ODI against the Netherlands. That was, that wasn't great.
No, I was online on like this now for that. That was brilliant.
That is down the arse of Conway, and it's gone past Conway, and unfortunately past Bairstow as well. And that's 4 of your best buys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There has been a beckoning signal from umpire Erasmus, and there is a flurry of activity as players go off and covers go on. So at the score of 152 for 2 after 41 and a half overs, rain has stopped play. There's a very brave man who's taken the stumps down. His covers are blooming towards him. It's good to see Overton and Conway.
If the rain comes,
they stop playing bloody cricket.
That is right. We don't like being outside in the rain, says cricket. But then again, they do the whole thing with most outside sports as well. Baseball. So, at the moment, it's just covering the pitch. So, hopefully this will be short. But the wind does seem to be whipping through the Headingley area, so it seems like if there is a shower, it might not be around for long. This is exactly the same as we had with our washing this morning. The moment we put it up on the washing line, it rained, and the moment we took it down again, there was nothing but blue sky. Leading to my wife shaking a very angry fist at whatever god is up there.
Yeah. Oops.
Seeing a man. That's an umbrella winning against a man we're seeing pictures of there. It's turned itself inside out.
That's a brand new umbrella as well. Just came out with a wrapper.
Yeah. First time with an umbrella, is it, son? Yay. So,
let me catch up on some tweets.
Do you want to bring us up to date on the world of social media, and then we'll have a chat?
So, Hombre Nuevo, and there was the question raised about if using a spinner as an opener here, as we did with Leach today, was groundbreaking. Have not the Aussies done that against us in the Ashes where Nathan Lyon? I don't remember that.
I think that was in the "we can beat you any way we want to" phase. I think Jez found out that the last English spinner to open an innings was Swanee, way back in the mid to late 2000s.
I don't think Lyon's gone above 10, other than when he's been night watchman.
No, not necessarily. No, he's not talking about a spinner opening the batting, but a spinner opening the bowling.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Mayank, I've never played club cricket on a proper pitch, just shitty American matting wickets and no sight screen. How does a typical UK club village pitch play like?
Hattie, I will leave that question completely open to the pair of you to talk about.
Northeast of Scotland. You're lucky if it's rolled and cut.
So quite green. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you're not going to get a hard deck. I think I'm probably one of the few who can get a bouncer to perform, but yeah, you're not going to get any bouncers. Nobody wears helmets, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Hattie, what's it like for you? Is it all rolled and cut and prepared?
It can be, yeah, actually. The one we played on Sunday, it rained the day before, but it dried out really well for Sunday. But there were a few that stopped in the wicket and then just reared up, and I got hit like that, which is now it's a nice shade of neon yellow.
But has it gone through the green stage to get to yellow, or is the green stage?
No, it just literally just left. It didn't even barely left a mark, but I knew it hurt. But now it's a nice shade of yellow. But besides that, we play lovely proper. We've got lovely pitches that we play on that are pretty even contests. Yeah, we've got 40 overs a side if we bat that long.
Colin, you're batting in the wrong place, mate.
Yeah, I'm bowling in the wrong place.
That's why I don't bowl, love.
This is why you got sacked from that job in Aberdeen's tourist council.
Well, we've got a new batsman came down from up from down south, who's very front-footed, and he loves playing up here.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
May I recommend being a spinner in Cornwall, because everywhere is on a hill, and so you just stick up one end and you'll get turned for days.
Cornwall, where it's all on a hill.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
To continue on, Pirate Badshaw, the banana is most known now for its single commercial cultivator called Cavendish. It's currently under threat of disease. The banana might be a rare fruit in the future.
That's not what we want to hear, is it?
No, that's depressing.
What a tennis player is going to eat between games now?
What am I going to have with my peanut butter on toast?
Or Chris Rogers, how's he going to live?
I mean, these and more questions besides. I mean, dear good grief.
Kevin Framp, Nari contractor too, but no doubt the advent of helmets has made techniques against a short ball worse.
No, I don't think so.
What I just find from earlier days, 80s, 90s cricket, they were more conscious of having to be ready to be on the back foot, because, as you say, if there wasn't the adequate protection, they would get smashed. So the Yorker became a much more powerful thing, i.e. Wazi Akram.
Oh, yeah.
Thoughts?
No, I think that I think that it's this multifold thing. I think there's lots of different reasons, but who can say whether a helmet makes you feel safer, so you're less inclined to duck? But if a technique thing is a schooling thing, and that would begin before you were ever given helmets to play with anyway. So I don't know.
And Message has thankfully pulled up the page, I'm guessing from Cricinfo, for spinners who opened, and the list starts with Leach, then goes to Swan, Panesar, Kevin Peterson, Panesar again, Ramprakash, Mbure, and that's halfway down, so you can imagine there's quite a few.
Ramprakash, golly.
The sky looks an almost purplish shade. The movement of the covers is now covering not only the pitch but the square as well. So
I feel they've had local information from somewhere else that is bucketing down over here.
So I think there is the potential for potentially this to hang around for a while. There are umpires, I think, who are looking at the square, but looking at it with their umbrellas up.
And updating our random YouTube celeb cricket war.
Okay.
Dwayne Leverock has appeared. Where he's saying, "Hi gorillas, anyone remember me and my infamous catch? Love the show." That is certainly a name from the blast of the past.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. It's difficult to say, really.
Something tells me it's not the real people.
Do you think it's not the real people?
No, maybe one of them, but all three of them, remarkable. And,
either we're completely underselling. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sunil's too busy with other stuff to get involved in our YouTube channel, but you never know. I mean, you never know, do you? I mean, this could be it. It would have been nice to see Overton get to his century, but definitely did the job by the time he was out.
For sure, and to see Stuart get some runs again Because he hasn't played with that freedom for years, has he? Really?
Yeah, I mean, the bit that is annoying for me about the way that Broad plays is that it's all very good and all very nice doing it at this stage and batting England into a lead, but when England are really struggling, he bats exactly the same way, which is an indication of either a massive technical defect or a massive mental one. But hey, when it comes off, it comes off.
Yeah.
In a huge style, so that's not too bad.
I best not say anything. I've not got much patience for Broad.
No, in a strange, weird way, neither do I. Which, considering the service that he's given to the team, is a bit, is. I know I'm being unfair, but I can't help but be unfair, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you got cricketers who you feel similarly about that? It doesn't matter what they do, you'll always find a way of like picking holes in them.
Yeah, well, KP is just morally bankrupt. I think he's just that person who you just personality wise it's like nothing. A vacuum, but performance wise.
In a world of KPs being Annie Chave, that's all I'll say.
Yes.
In more in cover news, the covers for the pitch are now being taken off the pitch. For those of you who like this sort of thing, nicely, neatly folded away. So they're better used for next time, obviously.
They're obviously ones who can't make their own beds.
I mean, listen, if you make your bed like this, it's got to...
When people who do the covers like that and ghosts don't know how to make their own beds, it's clear.
It's a poor bed. To answer your question, the only person I can think of the team I follow and support is oddly Marcus Stoinis. I just, no matter what he does, I still get the feeling of, does he belong to be there? And he keeps on performing or doing quite well, adequate, but I don't know what it is. And he's a great bloke as well, which makes it worse. He's a really nice fella.
Yeah, there's always the case sometimes where some players are like partners who always do you wrong. They don't write, they don't call, they don't treat you well, and the moment you would decide you're just about to cut ties with them, they do something really nice. And so we've got two umpires who have strolled on as if to go, what's the problem? Erasmus has got his sunglasses back on, which is nice. They were like just tiny little beady eyes. tiny beady eyes. If they were any further back in his head, they'd be on the back of his head. It just looked.
It was as if his eyes were just pupils, and that's it.
It was like Penfold from Danger Mouse without the glasses. That's what it was.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock.
I think we are technically due a change at the moment.
Do you want to change?
But it's going to be delayed.
I have to
anyway. So, and it's meant to be Bennett, who's not here, and Messers and Al.
All right.
I suggest we take a break and monitor the situation, unless you really want to talk.
Well, it's now sunny and the umpires are out there, so I think they'll be announcing a return to play pretty soon.
I'm quite enjoying Al's list of pet hates too. Actually, I'm sure it goes for a while.
No.
On the darker side,
I'm trying my best not to be too hateful.
On the darker side, the laptop. Once everything seemed to be fine, the laptop has now stopped charging again and is on 60%.
I think that should be your primary concern.
That is very much my primary concern. I've texted the bear and I'm waiting.
Yeah. There's all sorts of jokes that leap to mind, Jez. It's like there's only two types of people that I hate in this life. That people who make stereotypical judgments about people based upon where they are, and the Dutch.
Yes.
The old Austin Powers joke.
Yes.
Every time Max Verstappen wins a Grand Prix, that's how I feel.
Wow.
But I think every one of us has probably got those players that, can never do anything. Brad Haddon was one for me. I never liked Brad Haddon. He was playing for my team, but fuck him. I just didn't like his way of being.
Was it the way he played, or was it just merely his existence that brought you out in hives, Jez?
I think it was more his existence. I just think he was a prat, and I don't know. He just made a prick of himself. I think a lot of wicketkeepers have got that capacity actually because they think they've got to be part of the game. I never liked Ian Healy much, to be honest.
The restart is in 7 minutes.
Do you think they're like scrum halves? Because I can't see scrum halves in rugby union being, just always yapping away.
Sort of, yeah. Although, I mean, my memory of scrum halves goes back to the days of was it Gareth Davies and the 50s and 60s were when I watched most of my rugby. I don't get into rugby so much these days.
Yeah, it was sad to hear about Phil Bennett, wasn't it, over the last couple of weeks?
To be honest, I wouldn't have known.
No, it was just it was formative memories with my dad. My dad loved watching the Welsh national team play. Still does, actually, to be honest. There's no point really talking about him like he's in the past tense. He's still quite with us. But yeah, Phil Bennett and that sidestep. I don't know. I've more people but on that sidestep than I don't know. It's just marvellous to watch.
Well, I'll tell you how old I am when it comes to rugby watching. I remember the day that colour television had just been launched. We didn't have a TV anyhow when I was growing up, but it was a huge occasion because we went down to my dad's school staff room, he was a teacher, and they'd got a colour TV, and we watched our first ever rugby match in colour. And it was something so totally different to anything that we'd ever seen in black and white before. To actually see players in colour. Just amazing. And in a way, that was one of the things that cemented my love of rugby because it did make such a massive difference. Weird. Anyway.
I can remember watching the 1982 World Cup. Obviously, but I'm 7 years old, and all these games of football are on as I'm getting home from school. And all I can remember it's like old 90, like it's like if you were to get your TV now and turn the colour way up to max, right? Everything was so bright. It was just this amazing thing to watch.
It's funny. Ah, dear. So you reckon that we're on again in about 5 minutes?
They reckon it restarts at 10 past the hour.
Excellent. Oh, well, that's good news. And so, where do you read this game being now?
Well, I'm going to let Hattie answer that question first.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Obviously, this is a big final hour and a bit now, isn't it, for both teams? Because the pitch is keeping low, is taking turn, and it really should play into England's hands. But with Williamson still in there and Conway playing as he can, if New Zealand can add easily another 100 in this final hour and a bit, the game will just run away from England very quickly. But we know what they're capable of, so I don't want to be sit on the fence with it, but really England have got it. I mean, they do really need to goal a lot better than they have.
No, I think you make it in a way. It might go completely the opposite way to Trent Bridge, whereas the conditions seem like they were never better than in the fourth innings. Here, it could be that actually bowling last might be a huge advantage, especially like we said. We saw there's been more and more differences of bounce. Leach is getting the ball to turn, certainly out of the foot marks, but maybe doesn't have to hit the foot marks all the time. So yeah.
And the other one keeping low or kind of just rearing up a bit as well, and so.
How about you, Jez? Where do you see it?
I actually think New Zealand appear to be well placed. The reservation, I think, there's no reason they shouldn't set up a really good lead over England in this. The reservation I still have is their lack of bowling. They're just so limited that I think England have the capacity to chase a big total fast again. But if this wicket does start playing tricks, it changes England altogether, because what they've done so far spectacularly in the last 2 test matches has been premised on batting on wickets that really suited them doing it, but no longer. Oh, we're back.
Right.
I'll shoot off then, so I'll leave you 3 to it.
Hattie, lovely to see you. Catch up with you soon, all right?
You too. Yeah, I'm on the final day at some point. So.
Oh, there's a wicket! There's a wicket! I've been caught mid-crisp and mid-Hattie's departure, but there is a wicket. Joe Root gets the inside edge of Devon Conway's bat. It goes to short leg Ollie Pope in there, I think. And Conway is gone for 11, and I will jingle up that wicket with glee.
Fuck off! Just fuck off!
I was caught mid-Pringle by that one.
My prediction.
Well, just goes to show that obviously short rain breaks do play havoc with your concentration.
So that's a really good catch from Ollie Pope, low to his left, one-handed. It's come. I don't think that was inside edge to pan. I think that was off the face of Conway's bat.
If there were any more Cardinals in that shot, they'd have to elect a new Pope.
Oh dear.
Also, in more good news,
white smoke.
Sorry, Messers. In more good news, that was off the face of Conway's bat. In more good news, I've had an update from the Bear about the laptop charging situation, and apparently it just does that, and it will get down to about 5% and then start charging again. So we're not going to go off air. Be reassured, listeners. I am Jacob Gaffer, filling in for Bennett, who's decided not to bloody well turn up. Joined by Messi Jez, now Hotch, if you're just joining us after the rain break. New Zealand now 152 for 3. The wicket of Devon Conway just falling, and leading by 121.
Jez, all I was going to say in response to these things happen, there's no way we're going off air. I'll see you tomorrow, yeah, Jez?
Yes, yeah.
Well, everything seems to be fine now.
Yeah, we got someone in the fort. He can do it by himself.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
He's talking to himself, Jez. I don't know what he's talking about.
How hard can it be?
Man with the golden arm.
Yeah, in comes Root. Round the wicket to the left-handed Nicholls, I think it is, and left alone with a bit of turn. Yes, I think that's Henry Nicholls, isn't it? And I'll give him a little jingle when I find it. Here it is.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and more. You know Henry Nicholls is racking up the score.
As he clips that one into the leg side from Root just for 1 run, gets off the mark.
Nicholls just laughs and goes to town.
And that's the end of Joe Root's over. 42 done, New Zealand 153 for 3. It's Matty Jez on the socials.
Old Father Play says, purple sky in Yorkshire, pick the rhubarb, but it will be sour. I'm Braden Wovo, in response to that list of spinners who've opened the bowling, says he can't believe KP is on that list. Delusions of grandeur while captain, indeed. Ego bigger than capacity, I think. Mike Taylor said, I hate Steve Smith. For me, he's never played an intentional shot in his life. Every ugly stroke timed to perfection is through sheer luck. Yeah, you know that's not true, Mike, but just want it to be. Roger Melly replying around narrow contract. I said he didn't know that one. The light roller saying, looking forward to my first visit to Headingley tomorrow. Any advice on parking? That'll be welcome for anybody.
That's the train.
That's the train.
Thank you
and then so much. Well, all catch it. Well, is it far from the railway station?
It is a little bit. It's a couple of miles away.
Right. It's Stuart Broad coming back into the attack with Henry Nicholls, the new man, facing up. In comes Broad, round the wicket to the left-hander, and it's defended solidly and nicely. And because he's been mentioned on social media and I only need any excuse to play it, here's a jingle about KP.
There's a far wind broadcasting on Sky. Nobody wants him there. Everybody just asks why. Oh, give us some more Annie. Give us some more Annie. And less of that KP guy.
Any excuse. Any excuse. That was KP as a fuckwit by Mog as Broad comes in.
Genius.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? That's as Nicholls defends off the back foot for no run. That's I believe that's by Mog, but it may be by Jeff Perkins. If I've left the credit wrong there, then feel free to berate me on Twitter until I can no longer go on the internet.
Oh, they will.
I know they will. I'm sure of that. I'll be blacklisted from Elon Musk's Wet and Wild Party Dungeon online version.
What is it with you and pain and rooms? What is it?
As that's left alone by Nicholls, and Bairstow acts like that was about to hit him in the gentleman's area, but does manage to catch it.
Oh, I mean, I'm worried more than anything else. I'm just, you know.
Do you think I live in some sort of ancient Transylvanian castle with rattling chains on the walls and stuff like that?
No, my worry is the fact that you want to be. That's
we have a one-word tweet from Jeff Perkins, who in fact was the author of that jingle, which just says berate.
Sorry, Jeff, I'll give the credit there where it's due then, and that's left alone by Nicholls. Dwayne Leverock, who somehow has joined our YouTube conversation along with Sunil Gavaskar and David Warner, has said that he loves KP as a commentator as much as he loves having a nail implanted into his foot.
Yeah,
spot on.
Olin and I did doubt the veracity of those accounts.
Yeah. I often feel when KP's commenting like I'm having a sort of cricketing intellectual lobotomy.
Well, I'll talk in between, Boult.
As Nicholls faces up to Broad, round the wicket, in he comes. That's straighter, played across by Nicholls, leading edge out to Ben Stokes at mid-off. How?
Well, there seemed to be very much a screen test for ex-England pros in this series. KP in the first test. Swanee, thankfully, did better in the second test. So I don't think KP is going to be part of the permanent coverage. I think
there was Chris Foakes as well.
Yeah, but Foakes is there because he's injured.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Moeen Ali's been on TMS. Broad in, left alone. Bit of extra bounce there. Bairstow jerks his head back and then walks straight into a little cuddle with Joe Root.
Yeah.
Spreads his arms wide and stumbles into Root's loving embrace.
Do you reckon that was Root going, remember me? I used to be captain.
Yeah.
I was popular once.
You were crap when I was captain. Remember those days? Yeah. As that's the end of the over, and I think we're going to have a bowling change. Yes, we are. We'll get some socials in, and then I'll jingle him up.
Barong says, looks like small rain packets could thwart play for the rest of the day. Good hour for Bangladesh. Picking up ball gets to lunch. Leah says, another lull in the festivities. Well, seems to have been decent damage control from the bed trots, and their real batsmen are still to come. And Mayank says, another sports news, Gareth Bale is coming to LA. What are they going to pay for
Bloody
that?
hell.
Fuck me.
They thought he might be going to Wrexham at some point, didn't they?
Well, there was talk of Cardiff as well.
As in comes the new bowler, Matthew Potts, who's had Kane Williamson a couple of times in this series, and it's defended off the back foot by the New Zealand captain. And I'm just going to jingle up the bowler. Here he is.
I've heard from Potts that the kettles are filthy black. You know he might do. Let's bring him into the attack.
Dwayne Leverock, not his real name, has put an interesting question actually to us on YouTube, which is that on commentators, what are your top 3 of all time you'd love to share a booth with? I'm sure we're all going to say Richie Benaud, but other than that...
no, I wouldn't want to share a booth with Richie Benaud. I'd be too intimidated.
As Potts comes in, gets a leading edge from Williamson out towards extra cover.
Yes, I'll let you answer that one first.
Well, just off the top of my head, the ones I really like are Michael Atherton. I just saw Nasser on screen. I think he's very good. And the other person I actually like, although I don't always agree with him, but he says what he thinks, is Ian Chappell. He's got a lot of knowledge that he's prepared to share, and sometimes he's outrageous, but a lot of the time he's spot on.
In comes Potts, defended. Kept a bit low, no run. Al, what do you think?
I always used to love listening to Tom Graveney when I was young, watching cricket. So it's certainly Benno and Graveney from my youth. Probably Mark Butcher. I think he seems to be both insightful and willing to be, positive and negative depending on the situation.
And the other person I died just to listen to is John Arlott. I just love his voice.
In comes Potts. Williamson leaves alone outside the off stump. My three are probably Atherton. Then I'm a fan of, on TMS, Alistair Cook and Issa Guha. They're both very good. And then my absolute tip-top one, because he is the voice of cricket to me, even though he's now sadly retired, is Michael Holding.
All right, yes, he's very good.
Actually, if you gave me a few more minutes to think about it, I'd probably say Tony Cozier rather than Richie Benno.
It's an edge! Potts has picked up the New Zealand captain for the third time in this series on 48. It's a pretty lacklustre shot, a poor cut, and Kane Williamson has edged it through to Jonny Bairstow, and he is gone.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
Well,
no footwork. It's a waft. It's so out of character with the entirety of the innings that his feet haven't moved and his arms and his bat are miles away from his body. It's a terrible looking shot to get out to.
Kane Williamson now completes this series without having scored a 50, I believe.
That's correct, yes. That was
for a man who averages 53 in Test cricket, that is unbelievable. And Matthew Potts, considering Williamson has played 4 innings and Matthew Potts, the new seamer, has picked him up 3 times.
Yeah.
At an average of pretty good.
Yeah, considering Williamson hasn't got many.
Yeah, that is pretty astonishing stuff. And as you say, Al, completely out of character. The man who is famous for keeping his hands inside that imaginary little box by his body, unless he's, absolutely sure. That was neither cross bat nor straight bat. It was 3/4 angled and a really bad shot. And now this man comes to the crease. And, from Kane Williamson performing poorly to this man who's caused England a lot of trouble.
Son of an old black ferny, I'm not David Mitchell.
Averaging 158 in this series and 63 in Test cricket after 100 in every test of the series, including in the first innings. Here, what can he do for New Zealand in their second innings as they're balanced finally at effectively 122 for 4?
Yeah, it seems like both sides in this game are only happy when their backs are up against the wall.
He's averaging 120 in this series, since he got out. As in comes Potts to him, and he defends nicely on his legs. Short mid-wickets in play. End of the over, 153 for 4, leading by 122. Messi Jazz.
The light roller says, absolutely love the KP jingle. Made my day when I heard it first on Discord, which is, of course, available via Patreon. Yes, please, if you haven't already, come and join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. And Leah, talking about lobotomies and KP, says, and not the good kind of lobotomy either, but one using a hammer and going in through the eye socket. Leah also says, I'd like to share a booth with Gower and Emily Rainford Brent and a case of Jiva Pilsner.
Yeah. As Broad returns to the attack, is there a good kind of lobotomy? I'm not sure about that one. A well-performed lobotomy, perhaps. As Broad round the wicket to Nicholls. defended solidly and firmly, no run. Well, this is probably the match here, isn't it? That this partnership and the next one for New Zealand are probably going to decide whether or not England are set a chaseable total. If they can get 6 wickets for 100 runs, that's 222 to chase. If New Zealand can make it 6 for 200 runs, that's 322 to chase on the last 2 days, as that's defended by Nicholls for no run again. That's this is it, guys. It's a crucial period.
And that seems to have been the difference in the 2 tests so far, is that it's come down to half-hour blasts of play. Right, it's not been a sustained dominance, but there's ebbs and flows. But we can point to like a crucial half hour, an hour of play, which has moved the whole series one way. Well, England's direction.
In comes Broad. Is there an edge? No. It's a cut shot from Henry Nicholls. It's gone over the top edge. There was an appeal from behind the stumps, but it was quickly muted as Jonny Bairstow realised there was nothing. But it was close for Stuart Broad, and a wafty shot from Nicholls. It's missed the bat by quite a way, actually.
He's in no position to... It's too close to him to cut.
What's going on with New Zealand here? The technique is, for a team which is renowned for being technically on the money, it's just starting to... Maybe the situation of the series, of the game, the crowd... It's just starting to get to the batsman a little bit, as that's full... Driven nicely. It won't pierce the gap, but they will get a single as Jonny Bairstow sort of fumbles one behind the stumps. A firm throw from Stokes.
No, I think what Jez said quietly there is absolutely true. The rain breaks made a huge difference.
Well, two wickets have fallen since it. Devon Conway on the first ball after the break, and then a couple of overs after. Williamson didn't manage to start again and played a pretty poor shot. They showed actually a graphic of Potts' dismissals of Williamson and where he got him, and the first 2 were different lengths but pretty much on the same line, a sort of 6th stump line, and this one was more like 8th or 9th stump, a lot wider, but Williamson had shifted across and played away from his body.
If you look at the way he's played the shot, he's not played the ball. He's not played at the ball aggressively. He's just. It's almost like it's out there. I'm just going to let the ball hit the bat, And it all that does is just invite the outside edge. It's
Broad pulls out of his run-uppers, and I think more idiots have stood up behind the bowler's arm.
Oh God!
I know, it's really bad.
Yorkshire should be thrown out just for these.
Yeah.
As well, the thing is with the Williamson thing, that's one of the things which has got Joe Root into trouble in Australia when there's extra bounce, just letting the ball hit the bat rather than really cutting at it. And it's what did for Williamson there, as you say, didn't really free his arms. He just tried to play a back foot punch. As in comes Broad to Mitchell, defend, and then the Marnus Labuschagne pokey no-run thing, which he's picked up.
Hey, if you're averaging 120, do what you want.
And the thing is, a shocking number of people who do that move are averaging 120.
Well,
I'm too guerrilla cricket centric now. I can't hear you say pokey without immediately thinking bum finger.
I say pokey, you say.
Oh dear.
It's not going to catch on, is it, really?
In comes Broad at the top of his mark. Final ball of the over to Mitchell, and he leaves that alone after advancing down. Lockie6 on YouTube says he would like to share a bed with Alex Hartley and Richie Benno. Wait, Booth, commentary box, redact the word bed.
Freudian slip of the penis. I mean,
many a true word and all that. Ombre Nuevo said, I so need the Potts jingle to go on into the chorus. The void left from just the verse eats at my soul. I may have been down the pub. Martin White points out that no one mentioned Daniel Norcross. Although I must admit, I haven't heard Daniel commentating since he left Gorilla. And Mike Taylor says, interesting places to be listening to Guerrilla Cricket. I'm in Paris, about to start a 6-hour live drawing session. Please don't make me laugh. Oh, there's a challenge.
If you can draw your whole life in 6 hours, you're a better human being than I am.
Well, Potts is back into the attack. Also, I'll say after this ball, partly because I've forgotten what I was going to say, as that's left alone outside the off stump by Nicholls, and now I'm just buying myself time to try and remember.
Can you remember what you were thinking about?
Not at all.
Not at all. Just it's all gone blank.
It's all really gone at the moment.
It's all gone back. And
don't worry. Don't worry. Never mind.
Now, I know we're due to change at the end of this over. I wasn't due back on, but I also see that Bennett was due back on for the final session between 6 and 6:30.
He is
so
indeed.
I'll come back in.
And that may be an extended stint as well because of the rain delay. It was only a short one though, as that's defended by Nicholls off the back foot, no run.
Yeah. So
and you will have been going for 2.5 hours by the end of that straight.
Me or Al?
I think it might be both of us.
I think, yeah, both of us have been on for a bit of a while. It's fine. As Matty Jez in his very moving and impassioned speech the other week said, and I would recommend if you can going back and listening to it, we're here because we love this shit, and so we don't mind doing 2.5 hour stints because it's just fun.
No, I'm here because you've got nobody else.
Yeah, well, that's the case, really. Well, that's what.
Yeah, beat yourself up, why don't you?
But none of us get paid, so you know that's defended by Nicholls for no run. We're all just slightly kind of sad people.
Jez, he thinks we don't get paid.
Oh no! It's because I'm one of the juniors and they haven't let me in yet. I also don't do the Patreon, so that's probably why I'm not getting it.
Oh well.
I need to start. It's just
how could he join Patreon?
Well, he could go to patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket and join up for no more than for anything from $2 a month.
As Potts catches the inside edge of Nicholls' bat, it goes out towards fine leg. Alex Lees does the fielding, and they get just the one run. I could do that, except for the fact that I'm a student. I'm a student and have absolutely zero disposable income, except for what I already pay for fancy coffees and takeaways, which is why I'm not getting a mortgage.
That's fair enough.
Obviously.
So cut down by one awful latte a month.
Yeah, that'll do.
I don't even drink coffee.
Well, why are you saying you're buying coffee then, you fool?
I know. It's just...
You do know that if we don't get any patrons today, Hendo will have us whipped.
Yeah.
He'll have me whipped, but I'll be a bit busy in Bear's red room. Gaffer tape to a chair, apparently. As in comes Potts to Mitchell, straighter, played into the leg side. There's a mid-on there. Stuart Broad really didn't need to dive for that, but chose to anyway. 87 miles an hour from Matthew Potts. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
But there was talk before the series that Potts did have that yard of pace. He has been operating around 80 to 82 miles an hour in this series so far, but that one was pacey.
I think the competition from Overton is pushing him a bit.
Because Overton was going at 89, wasn't he?
Oh no! There was an appeal from behind the stumps. It's left alone by Mitchell, and they almost thought it got off the back of the bat. And well, that's an exciting end to the over. 155 for 4 New Zealand, leading by 124. And Southee on YouTube says, sick of showering and finding the water goes everywhere? Then go to Redbubble/people/Guerrilla Cricket and pledge your allegiance both to Guerrilla Cricket Radio and to Dry Floors by purchasing the Guerrilla Cricket Shower Curtain. And Colin indeed joins us now. Hello, Colin.
Hello, folks.
Colin, how
Josie Oak is next up, Colin, and I'll catch you in half an hour.
Thanks, mate.
So Colin will be socialising, I will be summarising, and Al will be ball-by-ballerising.
Colin, so how long have you been anti-wet floors?
Don't get me started on wet floors. God damn it. Bane of my life. Because I do not have a Gorilla Cricket shower curtain.
Of all the hills I thought you were going to be prepared to die on, I didn't think that this one was going to be.
Sold myself for the Gorilla Cricket flower.
Anyway, Stuart Broad in around the wicket. Nicholls resolute, firm, defensive. Knows the crux of the game is within this stand and the subsequent stand with Blundell. Broad with his stupid headband flapping in the wind.
It's the best headband around, Al.
Oh, just it.
Even though his hair is thinning out.
Get a haircut,
even better than Nathan Bracken when he used to have one.
It's
now
Karate
you're
Kid.
talking. Now we're into some grey areas. As this is onto the legs of Nicholls, and it has been caressed Mark War-like through mid-wicket, and that is a gorgeous, sumptuous fall. So just lovely and watch Stokes. We just walk past Broad with a pointing accusation of be less don't be shit.
We do have a jingle for that, actually.
Yeah, be less shit, mate.
I'll play it in a minute.
Well, absolutely. No, that was a lovely shot, though, wasn't it?
I'm just thinking, was Shoaib Akhtar, was he not a bandana wearer at one point? Am I just misthinking?
Could have been, as that is arcing in towards middle stump. Nicholls does take a good stride forward, and that stride forward does take him outside the line of off stump, so he is prone maybe to the ball that nips back in, but he's resolute in defence here.
Here is what Ben Stokes said to Stuart Broad.
Stop being shit.
Probably in a similar accent.
It's difficult to say, as we see two people who are watching the game for free on somebody's roof. Terrible to watch that sort of vandalism as Broad comes in. That is tempting, just outside the off stump. Not quite drivable, not quite cuttable either, and Nicholls decides to leave the ball alone through to the keeper.
I made an acquaintance at university from a Sri Lankan family who have tactically and somehow bought one of the flats which overlooks Lord's.
Do you think that was the reason they bought the... I mean, first of all, that's a massively expensive purchase.
I know, but I think it was safe to say that I intend to become firm friends with him.
Firm friends. Wow. Broad in. Defensive by Nicholls. I'm a bit worried by your absolute transparency on the fact that this is a completely transactional relationship.
I mean, if it gets me into a flat overlooking Lord's on match days, I'll marry his sister. I don't care.
Can you still remember this person's
Does your
name?
girlfriend know that?
I don't know, but I know for a fact that she doesn't listen to Gorilla Cricket, so she never will.
Because that's not how broadcasting would ever work. If you'd like to bribe Jacob, then email in or tweet in or say so on your YouTube channel. Broad in. That is beaten the outside edge of Nicholls. One slightly more pitched up, but it's too good for everything. And Broad says that wasn't shit. Sorry, Stokes says that wasn't shit at all. As that's the end of the over. 159 for 4, as you told. Colin.
Josie Oak is sharing a picture of gone to Clarence Brewery, found the right spot, and he's just showing a picture of quite a few number of taps.
That's nice.
It looks lovely.
Can we get a 10-point must rating system here, Josie Oak? I want to know about the beers you've tried. I want to know about taste and colour and what you've rated them as you kind of go on through.
Neil Harris, New Zealand batting short of Mitchell, Blundell have been poor. While England have batting has been improved. It's no longer root plus extras. England bowler can always get wickets in English conditions.
No, it's Bairstow in the Ets at the moment as Potts is in. Draws Mitchell forward, but he is watchful in defence, goes to mid-on.
this has been very un-English-like wickets, I would say, for the past 3 tests.
I don't know. I think they've been pretty fair, haven't they?
Yeah, but
they've been pretty even wickets.
I think that of the past year, it's been very favourable bowling wickets.
Well, over the past sort of 10 years. There was until last summer. Sorry, I'll break off.
There's Mitchell again, half step forward. There are two people. There's a short cover and a even shorter mid off. Sorry, maybe even a off Hayden for the missed time drive, and Mitchell finds one of those.
Love that terminology, off Hayden.
Until last summer, I'm pretty sure we hadn't lost a home series for quite some years until New Zealand came and beat us here. I think it was 2014 because the wickets were so bowler friendly.
Lots hustle and bustle, and that's beaten the outside edge of Mitchell, and Bairstow again throws the ball up into the air as if to fool the Headingley crowd.
There's a lot of 240 all out, plays 250 all out kind of things going on.
The Bear, you deserve it.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly hope that you have a great night out.
Are we guaranteeing that's a genuine Bear who has not given himself moderator?
As that is angling in more towards the stumps. Mitchell plays the ball straight back to the bowler. No run.
I think
4 dot balls.
He may not have given himself moderator because every time he's here, he uses the Gorilla Cricket YouTube channel,
That's a fair point.
not the Bear one. Interesting if his YouTube channel is just called The Bear. But maybe he thinks everyone knows. Everyone knows the Bear. We get on air because of the Bear, and
we all follow the Bear.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow morning it's going to be we get on air because of Jaffa and Hendo, but the Bear will help.
As a much more pitched up, almost Yorker-like in length. Mitchell a bit more expansive, but the drive can only find mid-on. No run. But plenty of hustle and bustle from Potts in this little spell.
Plenty indeed. I'm slightly frustrated by the YouTube social media chat because I'm seeing far too much from the actual porn bot, and not enough from the Gorilla Cricket porn bot.
Well, the Gorilla Cricket porn bot is only on Twitter. Make of that what you will. Potts in, last ball of the over, and this is unfortunately on the hip of Mitchell. He turns that to deep square leg. And we'll take a single and be on off the schneid, but certainly still on strike. And that's the end of the over.
And is not here when Jay Grover is not here. Read into that as you may.
Well, you'd be a fool or I've never seen the pair of them in the same room together.
I did feel very bad for Jay Grover about when the news broke about bananas earlier, because he's going to have to switch to cucumbers now, and that's just going to be uncomfortable for him.
We've got one for yourself and all other students. Students can still become a Patreon through the organ donation program, and that's from Jeff Perkins. Mark Zip has sent us a picture of
I've got a Hammond organ. Is that what you were?
Mark Zip has showed us a picture of what seems to be, I think, a recording studio being built, where we have to go for records. Can you smell it? At least I've got you guys for company.
We also have a bowling change for company.
We do.
It will be this man.
Coming up is a face that I know. It's Jack Leach. Now coming up is Jack Leach. On Jack Leach.
Leach in, but that is on the legs of Mitchell. He turns this just behind square on the leg side, and they will walk, amble, dimble through for a single.
Not sure of the thinking of having no short leg to Mitchell at the beginning of his innings with Leach. That one on the inside half of the bat.
Yeah.
Also, the Bear says he may pop in tomorrow, ... during lunch, and then has conveniently deleted a message which he sent about him and Hendo going to the Queen's tennis tournament at some point. But before I could read when it was, he retracted the message.
Well, he can't go to Queen's now because it's finished.
Oh, well, maybe that's what he realised. Maybe that's why he deleted
Unless he's going next year. I mean, actual Wimbledon starts tomorrow, as the Nicholls is forward, and that will be fielded by Leach himself. Just sprints out to the right for 10 metres.
Wimbledon may start tomorrow, but you're not going to watch it, are you? You're going to be here. You're going to be with us.
Well, no, actually, it doesn't start tomorrow because tomorrow's Sunday. Sorry, I got my days confused. It starts on Monday.
And this will probably be finished by then.
True enough, as Nicholls goes back in his crease.
So you cannot watch it. You know, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess. Sue Barker's last Wimbledon. Sad to see her go.
I wish Claire Balding would go.
No, you can't.
Ooh.
Oh no, I don't like Claire Balding, and my entire household doesn't.
Okay. Nicholls back in his crease again, plays the ball back to the bowler, and there's no run. Any particular reason?
I feel like she's on everything. She's
actually on less than you think.
There was a little spell she was on everything.
Yeah, but now not so much.
She just irritates me slightly. Don't know what it is.
Nicholls comes down the track.
Oh, he's gone!
Cool and bold. Cool and bold. Nicholls came down the track. Leach maybe saw him come and dragged the ball down in length a little bit, and Nicholls has tried to just half play it defensively, but maybe half tried to push it past Leach, and Leach has taken an absolute snorter low down. Stokes can't believe what's happening.
That's just a gimme.
Wow.
Henry Nicholls does not want to see Jack Leach bowling at him for a very, very, very long time.
That was an absolute gimme. Jack Leach never even seen him moving. He'd already released the ball. He just decided to defend it to him.
It's the step forward. That seems to have been his movement forward seems to have been the thing that's triggered the poor shot.
Yeah,
it's hit high on the face of the bat, kind of roughly where the sponsor's logo would be, and he's just not pushed it down.
I think it's one of these cases of the batsman with a premeditated shot that has just thought, you know what, I should really need to change this.
Yeah.
I've seen this coming, but he's not changed it whatsoever. I'll quickly go back onto Twitter to catch up. Light Roller saying, berate rhymes with gyrate. Do you need some help with the jingle lyrics? Can Jacob gyrate whilst being tied to the chair? I think he's meant to say tied to the chair, but...
Oh dear. Well, we have a new batsman, and it's this man.
Up next is Tommy Blundell. Tommy Blundell. Up next is Tommy Blundell. Tommy.
Headingley's on its feet as that has gone on the inside edge of Blundell's bat, and it's somehow gone in between his legs and the stumps and gone down on the 45 on the leg side. No run.
Close to an LBW.
These pair have got to get New Zealand out of the mire that they've managed to put themselves in after the rain break.
That was very reminiscent of someone, a junior, coming down to your nets for the first time, but instead of smashing them about, you've decided to parry the ball back to them so they can bowl again.
I'm pretty sure. So the rain break finished half an hour ago, didn't it? And new 5:17 that we resumed.
That is roughly about the long and the short of it. 161 for 5, and Potts begins his new over with a Yorker length delivery, which is well played back to him by Mitchell. Potts is very unnecessary at his attempted throw back at the stumps. Jack Leach, lover of heroics at Headingley,
and starting to really come into his role, come into his own. He's not been uneconomical. He's held the end well, and he's getting rewards. 5 in the first, 1 now in the second.
as that is again, good length ball, pitched up, and Mitchell plays the ball back fairly easily. This has been the series, though, hasn't it? Blundell and Mitchell bowling, New Zealand in trouble, England having trouble getting them out.
It's amazing, isn't it, as well, though, that when a team can actually bat, the bowlers look better and do better as well. Because especially spinners, they have runs to play with.
Short, pulled, mistimed pull by Mitchell. It will dribble out to Leach at a deep square leg, and there'll be a single.
I mean, if England collapse in their first innings and are all out for 120 and are 200 behind, there's no way Leach can bowl the way he does with the field he has at the moment. There's no way the rest of the bowlers can bowl the way they are. The attacking lengths from Broad and Stokes, which led to some run leakage, just could not have happened if we were 200 behind.
Yeah.
Delicate, great moments that were made of great opportunity, and there was no better opportunity for heroics than 55 for 6. It's just nice to be able to see a game of cricket where there hasn't just been a blind accepting of the fact that, we're just going to be 110 all out, so no worries. But actually an actual mindset of, we can turn this around a bit at a time. Pots in. And that is, played towards mid-wicket by Blundell, slightly falling over himself, and there'll be no run.
Thought I was on ball by ball for a second, mate.
It's alright, mate. We've been at this for like 11 hours.
I am in 10 minutes, so I'm just G'ing myself up,
Yeah, it's alright. I can sense that there's a Rocky-style montage between now and then.
I was talking to the Bear about this earlier.
About a Rocky montage?
No, about how everything that kind of supporters wanted out of England.
That is defended well by Blundell, back to the bowler.
Has sort of happened in that, we've started to bat better, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then even today, there was a collapse, and we were just begging for, even when those collapses happened, someone to just grasp the game by the scruff of the neck and show some fight, and not just collapse with everyone else. And that's exactly what Bairstow did. And then Stokes' attacking tactics with the ball, the aggressive use of Leach, all this stuff has been really good.
The only thing to sort of bear in mind, the only sort of watchword of caution is that if things do get difficult, India and South Africa, that's no gimme. That is a Yorker length delivery, which is well dug out at the last minute by Blundell. Good surprise by Potts, but just is able to be dug out. That's the end of the over. If things go wrong, if we lose the game against India, for example, we can't turn around. Another reset. We've got to balance all of this sort of stuff out. Colin, mate, I've stopped you from talking about social media.
That's all right. Ravi Nair, I'll be ball by ball in. Gorilla is still taunting the porn bot. Tut tut. O'Neill Harris, how do you know it's vandalism? You could have paid entry fee for the roof. And Jeff Perkins gives you a jingle for yourself, Jacob, and gyrating in the chair.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
Wow, you are already the subject of a jingle. This is high praise indeed.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that one to be sent into the Bear and put in the audio desk.
I think you should listen to that before you. But I think you have to listen to that first. As Leach is in, as that is too far down the leg side. Mitchell will play that through towards mid wicket.
Is it on Is it on Twitter?
It's only lyrics. It's not on our call.
It's only lyrics.
I do technically have a jingle. The Jaffa Jaffa one has been used for me before, but it's not actually mine. But if Jeff Perkins can get that to a tune and send it in, that would be very gratifying indeed.
Yeah. Only if he subscribes to Patreon, though, as Leach is in and Blundell is watchful in defence back to the bowler and there's no run. Got to pay for this, mate.
Well, I've also requested from him and Marga a Karatekas Potts jingle, which is conspicuous by its absence.
You were pretty demanding about that, let's be honest.
I was.
Didn't you say you wanted that lickety split?
Something like that.
That one's a bit more outside Blundell's off stump, but he again plays it back to the bowler and no run.
I think the words I used were snappy, Al.
Well,
snappy.
Well, which ones would you rather use? We see some lights go on in the around the ground, as that is just maybe a little bit shorter and takes inside edge, maybe some glove, and moves between short fielders, but no catch. As we look in the distance, there looks to see there's a rain cloud in the distance that looked like that would make Noah want to build another ark.
I mean, Colin, for your next social, Ravinair has gone hard on me.
Back of the length. Blundell is off the mark, playing that ball to square leg.
That is some phrasing.
He's come off his long run for that one.
What's he said? Come on.
Clay Boulding is like a honeyed velvet. Jacob needs to grow up, damn it. A plague upon his stint tomorrow. May every cable come unstuck and may not be back able.
Oh, I'm just a fan, you know. Claire Balding's alright. She's very good. As that is defended by Mitchell. Back to mid-on. And that's the end of the over. 164 for 5. Colin.
The light roller. The first step on solving a problem is to first acknowledge it exists, I'm afraid to say. But you must be a bit weird. And I'm not exactly sure what's that in relation to. Josie Oak, got any Blue Note records? Love to collect some of those. The CDs just aren't the same.
Oh, Blue Note records, that's jazz, isn't it? Yeah. Blue Note records is jazz. Sure of it.
Mark Zip, oh God, if only it were a recording studio. It's a failing down barn. I'm fighting off mice, feral cats, and some larger lurking in the shadows.
Got to be a better way of making a living, Mark, sure.
That something larger lurking in the shadows is the bear, I'm afraid to tell you.
Pots in. Blundell just about gets us back down in time. Don't know about you, Jacob, that looked a little bit quicker than 82 clicks.
It did, didn't it? But I was saying that about Potts earlier. He always seems like him and Overton seem like they really force it out of the hand. They really hurl it down.
Yeah.
And they've always got some good aggression behind it. So 82 may not feel like 82.
Interesting that Root ran all the way from first slip to cover where Stokes is fielding to give some advice. And the look on Stokes' face when he heard it was kind of like, nah, you're the old captain.
So. Yeah.
No, well, it's good to see. You know, it was always said that Root was going to remain one of the senior players, so good to see him still being involved, as that is a Yorker attempt by Potts. A little bit short, which meant that Blundell could attempt the drive down the ground, but he can only find mid-on. Good cricket all round, no run, as the lights in the around the ground get a little bit brighter.
I guess his speed is looking faster because he's bowling a lot fuller, so he's not having that slow effect of bouncing as much.
Pokey Bumfinger on YouTube says, I believe of Claire Balding, I heard she'll do anything for a gin fizz and a punnet of strawberries.
More on the legs of Blundell. He turns it fine, and that is the first one of these boundaries in quite some time.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
I mean, Potts has been pretty economical. 2 for 20 off 9.3. Just a touch over 2 and over.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the first boundary I can remember in about an hour.
Although the run rate is 3.26.
Yeah, but it's still the first boundary I can remember in about an hour.
Yeah, it's odd that it's that high with... As you say, I agree, there don't seem to have been that many boundaries since the flurry of wickets, but... yeah, it's odd, isn't it?
It's the first moody fightiness I've seen from him. So far I've seen him just happy to be there, all smiles, all singing, kind of looks serious now.
Potts in full speed. Yorker
he's hit him on the foot.
Rattles
going down leg.
Probably going down leg. Stokes is even signalling down leg, or he's calling a no ball on his own bowler. He's saying it's down leg. It's as the bowler, it's absolutely the ball you want. He's 6 inches from glory, which, well, he hasn't been there on a Saturday night.
Al, you're provoking the pawn bot.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good ball though. It's whacked him on the foot.
It's way down the leg side. That's not coming back.
You struggle to see that. It's quite odd.
Well, the light may become a factor sooner rather than later.
The great unwashed of Headingley wanted that to be reviewed, but unfortunately, it's not a group decision, is it? Or at least they're not part of the group. It makes that decision.
It should be a group decision, but
yeah. Potts running in, that seems even quicker now, and that is again a good length ball. And Blundell is doing well just to defend these. This is all the right questions being asked.
He seems like he's on one a bit, Potts, doesn't he?
Yeah, he wants. Yeah. He is jogging back to his mark.
Cover's coming on.
Because I think there is going to be covers on at any stage. So Potts wants to finish this quickly.
And since actually the scheduled close of play is quite soon, that might be... They might call it.
Well, let's see what happens with this particular delivery. I wouldn't think about it too much, Potts. I'd just get in and bowl it.
Someone's saying to Potts, give it everything.
So someone then decides to move behind Potts' arm. You know what? Just beggars belief. Potts
again.
I think the reason that
and Mario Erasmus is calling the covers on.
Erasmus has now called on the rollers. Stokes was standing with his arms out, which for me would be off-putting enough. Blundell's backed out.
He did not want to face that.
Don't know if it's gamesmanship, not sure what it is, but whatever it is, not having to face that ball might be useful, although New Zealand were pretty shit after the rain break.
Will we get more play is the question. I mean, we aren't on the dot due a change, so we'll see how much play we get for this final stint. We say a fond farewell to Colin until tomorrow, and Al is staying on with me on Ball by Ball. Al's doing the socials, and Messi Jez will be replacing Bennett on the summary.
We're up to
I think that will be the end, actually. I think if they can't get back on before the normal the technical finish time of 6 o'clock.
Well, that is now, but the scheduled close, I think, does get pushed a bit later because of the rain break, because of the last rain break, by about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So if they can get back on in the next 15, I think we should see some more play, but if not, that may well be it. We'll see.
I've got to give you. I just tweeted it, but I've got to tell you something about Discord.
Okay, go on.
When I was off a couple of hours ago, I just put a message on Discord saying I thought we really needed a jingle for Spanner Man. You know, because we've got so many people with spanners now, and it just struck me that Billy Joel's Piano Man would be suitable to adapt for Spanner Man. An hour and a quarter later, Perko has delivered. So there is now a brilliant 1 minute 10-second jingle on Discord for our patrons called Spanner Man. And it does get stuck into me a bit, but that's fair enough. And it's very funny, and it's very clever, and it's brilliant. Thank you, Perko. You are a fucking genius.
He is indeed.
I don't know how the brain works to make that work, but
all the graphics on Sky on the television coverage are saying rain stopped play and not stumps. So the umpires will make. Hang on, the big sheets are coming on.
Well, it has to still be officially called. So up until the moment that they say no more play today, then it's still rain stop play.
But the big sheets are coming on.
Yeah.
So that doesn't look hopeful. The crowd at Headingley are starting to file out. The brollies are up. The rain
Tens of thousands of pounds of improvements will be done to Leeds City Centre tonight.
Yeah. the rain looks decently
Go underneath the sheet. Oh.
And the big sheets are coming on, so we await the official confirmation, but we here at Gorilla Towers are in the region of 70% sure that this may well be the close of play.
I mean, quite literally, everyone's ducking out.
Yeah, the aisles at Headingley are filled with people leaving, as opposed to retreating to the back of the stands for cover. So that's not great.
So let me... Anna Forsyth has sent a link. An absolutely fascinating article I came across about the origins of the term off the schneid, which I'm going to bookmark that and come back to it and read it later on. Dave Wood, I'm not entirely sure that the teetering the jinglers like fucking performing monkeys is not necessarily the best business model. Dave, you have a point. The light roller cracking lyrics, I'm guessing set to the tunes of Girls and Boys Come Out to Play. Not sure which jingle that's about. Let me see. For wrong, things you expect to hear on GC Radio, number 311. He's 6 inches from glory. Ravinair, I'm deliberately not turning the telly on, just listening to you because a watched pots never boils.
Oh,
no, Ravi, no.
No, well, we didn't have a Tony Bishop here today, so somebody had to fill that role.
That is, at this time of the evening, Ravi, that's absolute genius. That's a diamond bullet in the brain.
Someone has to send them home happy.
Yeah, Ombre Nuevo, Blue Note is jazz.
This time of the evening is 10:30 in India too.
Yeah. So Ombre Nuevo, Blue Note is jazz, blues and soul. Also the base for most original hip-hop music in the late 70s, early 80s. Is Potts and Overton bowling by force out of the hand? Pornbot, please jump in here. Also a reason why Stokes isn't bowling. I think so. I think so.
The Pornbot had a good one about Ben Foakes being pulled off at the tea interval.
And Jeff Perkins has sent us some lyrics for Caractacus Assassination.
Oh, nice.
To the tune of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
There's so much which gets done here behind the scenes at Gorilla Cricket to bring you the high quality, high production value product that you see before you and hear before you on the radio.
Let me see.
Jeff Perkins must be constantly riffing. I don't know how he can put that output out. I really don't.
Lockty6, is it impossible to have too many Rocky montages? And I hate my phone, hashtag am I alone in the world? Lockie, you're listening to us. You're part of the best church there is, mate. You're never alone amongst gorillas.
Right. The cricket is about to return on the telly, and we will get an update presumably on whether or not that is the close of play.
If we don't get back by 19 minutes past 6, there will be no more play today, according to Cricket.
Well, that's in 10 minutes, and the big sheets were coming on before this ad break, as we're seeing an advert for some boxing, a man doing a backflip, and now Pretty Boy Gibbs. I'll just kind of ball by ball.
Katniss Artingstall is gonna make a debut tonight. She is all that and a box of chocolates. Artingstall, she's
here she is.
Really good.
I'll just ball by ball what's on the telly and kind of audio description it for you while that happens. But I'm not really a big boxing follower. I never really watch it.
I like it.
I think it's madness, but never mind. He is the man who's very sensibly in support of helmets being worn for cricket, but quite happy to see men beat the shit out of each other in a ring.
Do you want to talk about why men and women go to war, Jez?
The big sheets are still on at Clean Slate Headingley, and the stands are fairly empty. There's a few stragglers. I don't see any umbrellas, but the dark clouds. Well, the umpire's got his umbrella out on the field of play. Yeah, there are some umbrellas. There's dark clouds. Well, it's not looking great, is it, gents? And we might miss out on...
We might miss out on like half an hour's play.
Yeah, half an hour of play.
Something to bear in mind, Chief, is because you're opening up tomorrow, aren't you, with Hendo?
Yeah.
If we're going to lose some time today, they might make tomorrow a slightly earlier start, something just to keep your eye on.
Yeah, I don't think we usually do the early starts here. They usually just go on a bit later, but I will keep my eye out for tomorrow morning, and just if I do need to rush out the house, kind of half showered, I'll do that.
I mean, I wouldn't.
No, I might get a bit cold and damp, but I should be fine.
Speaking of half showers, the light roller says he's going to try and get the Headingley unwashed singing Jeff Perkins' Caractacus assassination jingle tomorrow.
I think we should feed.
Good luck with that.
We should try and feed the Guerrilla Cricket jingles into the crowd and get them singing them.
I don't think the Headingley unwashed could spell cat if you spotted them the C and the T. So good luck trying to get them to. Good luck trying to get them to do a Jeff Perko jingle.
Oh dear.
Maybe they could do some of the simpler ones.
Now, I think my task for the light roller tomorrow is for him to go somewhere near behind the bowler's arms and bloody take a catapult with you. And anytime you see someone close to standing up behind the bowler's arm, just use it with great accuracy and great strength.
They've called it.
To hit
They've called it. It's stumps. It's stumps.
Oh, right.
So that is the end, and we'll just do a little summing up then, I suppose. New Zealand are 168 for 5 at the end of the day, having lost 3 wickets since the rain break an hour ago. They lead by 137 runs with the as yet unbreakable partnership of Tom Blundell and Daryl Mitchell at the crease. And it's interestingly poised for tomorrow, isn't it, lads?
Well, you want to go, Al?
It begins tomorrow the same as it ever was. The irresistible force meets the immovable object once again. If England get a wicket early, it stands every chance of being all over tomorrow.
Yep,
absolutely.
England are our favourites with the bookies at $1.71. New Zealand are out to $2.75. I'd actually have it tighter than that. I mean, frankly, the wicket's done a few quirky things, but it doesn't show signs of getting absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, yes, there's some fear, obviously, from England's point of view, that these two will do what they've done previously yet again. And they might. But I still think it'll be unlikely that England will be chasing more than probably 250.
Yeah, I think you stand a good chance with that. Yeah.
And either way, I see them in their current state of mind being in a good place to get that. So I'd very much back England winning from here.
Any last thoughts from you, Jacob?
Well, yeah, I kind of agree with Messi Jez. I think it could be a bit more than 250. I mean, if these two do their 100 partnership sort of thing, we could be up in the region of 290 sort of area, but after the last test you'd kind of back England to chase it on a wicket which, you know, bar England's collapse to 55 for 6, hasn't been horrendous to bat on if you stay correct. So I think it's, as you say, Messers, a tight game, but one that England are probably ahead in.
I think we're done then in that case.
The light roller signs off saying, thank you again, fine folk. I can't wait for tomorrow. I won't be firing anything at the misbehaving patrons other than a look of dismay. Fair enough.
Reasonable.
You don't want to put your own life in jeopardy.
Reasonable.
Right then. Well, thank you very much to Al Hopkins, to Messi Jez for your sterling service today, and particularly both of you actually for being on very long stints this afternoon. You've done exceptionally well. And
back at you.
I will be back early in the morning tomorrow, Alongside, I can tell you in just a moment, actually.
Nessus is coming in tomorrow too. That's good news.
Yes, he is. So let me find it. Let me find the rotor. Oh, I can't find it. But someone will be here with me.
Someone
we
will be
assume.
I think I might be on first up with you and Hendo. I'm not positive. I'll have a look at my rotor in a second. Headingly, day 4 is first up is going to be Hendo, Messi, and Forthy.
Okay, so
Jacob, you're going to be pulling the levers.
I will be. I'll be opening up with Hendo. So we will be back. Thank you all for listening. I am Jacob Jaffa signing off for Guerrilla Cricket, and we will catch you all in the morning. Goodbye.
Just before you go, Jacob, I just want to say thanks to you, mate. You stepped in to a daunting position and did a really sterling job, particularly given the fact that you were on flat out for the last 2.5 hours. So thank you for that, and thank you for being the bear.
Thank you, Messers, and thanks very much, and it's a pleasure.
All right, bye-bye.
Cheers, Al. Cheers, Messers. Bye.
See ya.
And cheers to all the listeners.
Guerrilla cricket. Boom, 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 boom.
Awful. It was about a yard down the leg side, and Ben Foakes had to dive away to his left. It was, however, at 88 miles an hour, and that's what we want to see from Jamie Overton. Is
good loosener, Jamie.
Very good. Yeah, I mean that even stretches the definition of a loosener, if you ask me. That was almost Harmison-like. But anyway, it looks like the Barmy Army are up and singing Jerusalem or something similar, as Overton comes in again. Better ball, but clipped away neatly by Mitchell. Gets the first run in the morning. There's a man at deep square leg. There's a man quite fine at fine leg. There's a backward square leg as well. So as I say, they may be going to operate on the basis of some short balls in the not too distant future. Blundell comes down to face for the first time. He's 45 not out. I do like Blundell. I know that Tony has become very fond of Daryl Mitchell. I've become very fond of Blundell. He's got a lovely luxuriant beard. He's very cuddly indeed. You can imagine sort of just resting your chin on his beard or your face. Anyway, he probably doesn't want to hear that sort of thing.
Hendo went off on one.
I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He was in a different place.
Oh, I was in a Blundell. I was in my Blundell paradise, which is a good song. Overton short. Oh no, that has really lifted on him and gone off. Maybe a bit of glove and a bit of chest. He was trying to get his head at least out of the way of it. I thought for a moment it was ballooning towards the wicketkeeper, but it fell nowhere near him really. But it was a hell of a good ball from Overton, and as I just said, we are going to see a bit of a short ball going over from Overton, it would appear. He's taken that on the shoulder in the end, but he's done very well to get his head out of the way of it. In again, better ball. Well, I say better ball. It's a fuller ball, but nicely just dropped down square on the offside. Blundell. He gets underway for the morning as well with a single, 227.45, and of course we got 90 overs in yesterday. 90 whole wonderful overs of cricket, which does show you how slow it was in some respects, but not in the least bit boring. Really, it was excellent cricket all day long. Mitchell waits for Overton for the next delivery. He's in. Is he going to try out a short ball on him? Not immediately. He's clipped it away behind square leg, where Jonny Bairstow, I think it is, has fielded. but they have had time to run for a single. So I'm not okay. He's there for a catch, I presume.
He is the man where Stokes was. Remember when Stokes pointed to the balcony and they got Mitchell there, or Blundell there?
No, it's Blundell. Yeah, in fact, they're just showing that now.
Yeah, that is the cat. The slightly top edgy, but not all the way to the fine leg boundary.
Yes. So he's not really saving a single. He's I guess he's about not quite halfway to the boundary, but something along those lines. He's coming in a bit closer. There is also a genuine fine leg for the top edge that goes a little bit further. And Overton is moving in for his final ball of the first over. Finds an outside edge this time, and there's nobody at all down at third man. So forget about who's at fine leg and who's at backward square leg. It's third man when you need someone, and it's one of these.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
It's one of these as well.
50 runs, you're 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, you're 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
Sixth Test 50 to go with 300s. It's taken him 111 balls. It's included 6 fours. Messi, who's with us?
Warren and Roger Melly says hello, good evening, bollocks. The porn bot says fuck it, click here, and he's very conveniently sent a clip of yesterday's intro, which includes certain indiscretion on my part. Jay Grover says, morning all, been up all night binge watching The Boys and doing horrible drugs, so until equilibrium is restored, all I can say is a head-butted keyboard.
Oh goodness me, that's a bit worrying. Pull yourself together, Jay. Anyway, the new bowler is not going to be Stuart Broad, it's going to be this man. 20 overs for 28 runs yesterday.
I've heard from pots that the kettles are filthy black. You know he might do. Let's bring him into the attack.
Not sure what went on there. They looked like it could have been a chance.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an uppish drive. I don't think it quite carried. No, I don't think it's carried there, has it? No, in fact, it's a really good piece of fielding by Bairstow. Yeah, and Bairstow ends up almost performing a headstand while saving that from going away to the boundary. He's completely square on the offside, about, I don't know, he's not in an orthodox cover position. He's a little bit closer than that. Onto the back foot goes. Mitchell plays it to him. This time, Bairstow is very excitable this morning. He's threatening to throw down the stumps at the non-striker's end. Then he runs with the ball to take it back to Potts and threatens to lift the bails while Blundell is standing there. So it's all happening.
I think that's a good position, that very kind of square drive man, to particularly to Blundell. He plays a lot through square. Mitchell can have more of a cover drive, but also does play square a lot.
And he comes again, straight, good length, defended on the front foot this time. Mitchell's moved on to 80 from 165 balls, and England, of course, be kicking themselves. They should have had him out yesterday if they'd only reviewed. But they didn't.
But then they wouldn't have got Nicholls out, would they? Because his bat wouldn't have been there.
That's true, but actually, on the basis that Nicholls looks terribly out of form, I think I'd rather have him there. In comes Potts again, bowls a little bit of movement away from the right-hander, and it's left alone through to the keeper. No run. More tweets.
Cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick Gorilla Cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, Guerrilla Cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio, so vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another.